Photographers, if you're just getting started with off-camera flash, let me share something I learned that's going to make understanding your flash a whole lot easier. While using off-camera flash, I couldn't understand why sometimes my flash was powerful and other times it seemed like it could barely light my subject even when I hadn't changed the flash power. Turns out the answer was in my shutter speed and high-speed sync. So let me show you what's happening. First, you need to understand something called your camera's flash sync speed. Most cameras have native flash sync speed around 1/200th or 1/250th of a second. At or below that shutter speed, your camera's first curtain opens, exposing the entire sensor. Your flash can then fire one powerful burst of light across the entire sensor before the second curtain closes. This is where your flash is going to be the most efficient. But what happens when you go above that sync speed? Let's say I increase my shutter speed from 1/200th of a second to 1/1000th of a second. At these faster shutter speeds, the second shutter curtain actually starts following the first curtain before the first curtain finishes crossing the entire sensor. That creates a small opening or slit that travels across the sensor. And now we have a problem. If the flash fires one single burst like it normally does, only the portion of that sensor exposed by the slit would receive the flash. The rest of the image could have a dark band across it. This is where high-speed sync, or HSS, comes in. Instead of firing one powerful burst, the flash rapidly pulses its light while that opening travels across the sensor. That allows us to use flash at shutter speeds up to 1/8000th of a second while still illuminating the entire frame. But there is a trade-off. Your flash now has to spread all its light out over the time it takes those curtains to travel across your sensor, instead of delivering all that energy into one powerful burst. And that means less effective flash power and less range. That was exactly what was happening to me. I was shooting outside on a bright sunny day using an ND filter. The filter was reducing the amount of ambient light entering my camera, which allowed me to stay around my native sync speed while still using the aperture I wanted. My flash was powerful and everything was working great, but as I changed positions and the ambient light became brighter, I started increasing my shutter speed. I went above the 1/250th of a second shutter speed, and suddenly I was wondering, why isn't my flash as powerful anymore? I didn't change the power of my flash. What I didn't understand at the time was that I had crossed my camera's native sync speed and entered high sync speed. So here's the important thing to remember. If you're shooting outside with flash and you need as much flash as possible, try to stay at or below your camera's native sync speed. But sometimes you are going to want or need those faster shutter speeds, and that's completely fine. High-speed sync is an incredibly useful tool. Just understand that when you use it, you're trading some of your flash's effective power and range for the ability to shoot those faster shutter speeds. Once I understood that, it finally made sense why my flash could feel incredibly powerful in one shot and much weaker in the other. Nothing was wrong with my flash. I just needed to understand what my shutter speed was asking my flash to do. So now in those times when you do need to go above your camera's native sync speed, just make sure your flash has enough power to overcompensate. If you can't afford a 600 watt, 800 watt plus flash, maybe you can afford a neural density filter to help keep your camera within its shutter range while maintaining that beautiful bokeh that we all love. If you learned something from this, please like the video and consider following for more educational videos.